Hello, I'm Kads, and welcome to today's special edition video. We are going to be pulling some shards, which is definitely out of character for me, but I'll explain exactly why we're in this situation and why this is actually a very strategic way for me to go about this. So for context here, this all has to do with my proximity to Mercy. Here, if we look at the Mercy tracker, you can see, and you've probably seen this if you've been watching my shard pull videos over the past month or so, that we have been sitting pretty at 136 voids pulled, or 64 away from entering Mercy, and up to 84 worst case to guarantee ourselves a Void Legendary. And essentially my goal for this close proximity was to try and pull for some of my most wanted champions if they were featured in Progressive Chance events, specifically during a weekend where there's a summon rush going on or some other accompanying event where I could double dip and get some sort of reward on top. But at the same time, I don't want to be horrendously efficient with my voids and just save them forever. And so I don't want to wait 3 months waiting for the perfect champion, the perfect timing and all that stuff. And unfortunately for me, we're in an interesting situation where literally my top 3 most wanted Void Legendaries are all featured, or were and are featured in the Progressive Chance events for this CVC going on right now. So yesterday's featured Yumiko, which is in the top 3, and obviously that one has expired because it's a new day. And then for today, we have Sify the Lost Bride alongside Grisor Iron God. So those make up my top 3 most wanted Void Legendary champions. So that did put me in a little bit of a bind here because, like I said, I don't want to indefinitely hold on to my voids for the next 3 months or something, waiting for another chance and the stars to align for my champions to be featured. And having all 3 of them in the span of 2 days implies to me that they're probably not going to be in a weekend summon rush Progressive Chance event for a couple of months now, just because they regularly rotate the different champions you're going to see. And so the odds of any of them coming back in the near term is heavily unlikely. And so I had to make a decision of who to go for, how I wanted to approach this. And my original thought was to do like 30 shards on day 1, try for Yumiko, and then 40 to 50 shards to go for the Sify, and try to double dip and get a little bit of both. But after some thought, I just decided it's probably just better just to go all in on the top one that I want the most and not try to do half and half. And so we're focusing all of our efforts to try and get Sify the Lost Bride today. So we're going to go all in and actually mean it, because we're going all the way out till we get a Void Legendary. We're going to hit Mercy. So worst case, 84 voids maximum, which wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. It would be the cheapest, air quotes, guaranteed Void Legendary on my account if we do happen to get lucky with the Progressive Chance event. In terms of odds, they're not horrendously out of favor. There's around an 18% chance that when we get our Void Legendary from the guaranteed, that it will be Sify the Lost Bride with the 15x going on. So slightly worse than a 1 in 5 chance, which in my opinion is not a bad deal if you could have the shot at getting one of your most wanted Void Legendaries. And of course, do I really have to mention why I would want Sify the Lost Bride on my account? Obviously, super powerful revive, full turn meter, good amount of health. She has the healing on the passive. She can cleanse the freezes and fears potentially. She always will cleanse Road to the Lost Groom, who of course I do have on my account, so that'd be a very strong pairing. And then of course her bread and butter ability, block debuffs, increased defense, increased speed, a little bit of turn meter fill, and not to mention the worst, most annoying ability in the game in my opinion, at least in the arena, the AoE bug zapper sleep that cannot be resisted on the A1. So at the very least, she could help me develop one of those like super fast Sand Devil teams with the Sify irresistible sleep, guaranteed 100% chance runs. But also, of course, I would run her in protection set as much as possible, probably 6-piece, realistically speaking, and have a chance to use her in arena, just because Sify is everywhere in the arena. The bug zapper A1, of course, but also just having a lot of protective buffs, keeping her team alive, and the revive is also very powerful too. But the underrated part of her kit, I think, is also just the healing every time they take a turn, 10%, pretty substantial. So super powerful champion. Of course, everyone knows Sify by now, or at least you should know Sify, so don't really have to explain myself too much, but nonetheless, she would be the top of the tier if we can manage to get her. And I guess I skipped ahead a little bit here and I forgot to talk about the overall shard count on the account, but we do have 759 on the Ancients, 300 on the Voids, which of course we'll be dipping into today, 59 on the Primals, and then 71 on the Sacreds. Of course, I do expect to get a ton of rares because there is no 2x going on right now, but nonetheless, I do hope to get some epics along the way for epic empowerment, and or getting some unique champions that were previous fusion champions who were sacrificed for the purposes of their fusion, specifically Diana Doompiercer from the Sylvan Watchers, and then Slixus from the Lizardmen. All right, let's get to the pulls. We've got just enough space. Ideally, we just happen to get the legendary earlier, which would be nice just because we get to save voids, but nonetheless, we are prepared to go all in, all the way out to the guaranteed Mercy Void Legendary if we have to. And then, of course, we have ample cash to be able to pull this off. So let's jump right in the first 10 pop, here we go. Let's see what we can get. Once again, we do expect to see a bunch of void rares. I guess in terms of void rares, I wouldn't mind also getting some Broadmaw rares as well. That would be handy. So some of the Bloodhorns and whatnot, stuff like that. But nothing crazy there. I guess Cold Heart, pretty nice. Always good to get Cold Hearts. Don't really need her on my account, but of course, you know, a lot of those early game, or anyone who's just started off with the El Hades free-to-play challenge, you're definitely crying in your boots, hoping that you get a Cold Heart. Sylar there, pretty nice. I don't actively use her on anywhere in the game, surprisingly, despite her utility, but she's a pretty decent champion. The AoE turn meter decrease, and then AoE on the A1, good for a stun set, good amount of control. Bunch of rares, not looking good, but nonetheless to be expected. No big deal. And honestly, this is one of the few times I've ever pulled shards during a CVC. So I guess we're going to get a decent amount of points, depending on how many epics we get. If we keep stacking up the rares, though, it's not going to add up to a whole lot here. So lots of paragons, apparently. Another epic, Skrank. Okay, that is a duplicate for empowerment. We'll take that. Love to see it. 30 voids in. Let's keep it going. We are still on the cold shards, meaning that we're not in Mercy, so this is just kind of raw odds and hoping that we happen to get lucky earlier with the 1 in 200 chance, but nonetheless we will go all the way out to the end if we have to. More rares, and more rares. Another Cold Heart, love to see it. Dagger, pretty decent. Bannerlord's debuffer if you want to use her for faction wars, maybe the Cursed City, stuff like that. But obviously you upgrade to Stag Knight as soon as possible. Renegade, the budget reset champion, the only one that I have still on my account. Double Cold Heart, you're just seeing a lot of her today. Runekeeper Dasdark, pretty cool cleanser with turn meter fill as well on a different ability, kind of like an arena champion if you want to run him in that way. But never used him on my account either. But duplicate for empowerment for sure. Maybe, we'll see. Maybe you're just a chicken. Next up, we have a Lightsworn, another epic. Cool for the Sand Devil team. Revive on death if you want to run him that way. And I believe now that should be 60 shards, meaning that we're entering the hot zone. So we're going to go into Mercy for sure here. So the odds are decent that we get it in the next 10 pop. So let's keep an eye out for that here. Reliquary Tender, honorable mention there for a rare good cleanser. I still use her in the Nether Spider. So here we go. We should be entering the hot shard somewhere in the middle of this 10 pop here. Gala Long Braid's pretty good. Single target nuker. Legendary. We hit Mercy and sweet. Oh, that is amazing. We hit the 10x. Yes, Siphi the Lost Bride, 1 in 5 shot, and we actually got her. Oh my goodness, that is amazing. Fantastic. We already talked about her kit, but yeah, this is substantial. I have a Rotos. This is like the ultimate pairing. I have so much more power level now in the arena, so this is going to help me a ton in PvP, a ton in live arena. I'm now not as restricted to just having to run Arbiter if I want to run a speed champion, and I finally have a champion who I can run in block debuffs with the protection set. Although I did just put Underpriest Brogni in one, but that's a separate story. So yeah, not much to say about her kit. We already talked about everything that makes her good, and that is just awesome. That's fantastic, and I guess we can just book her straight away because it's CVC. Why not? But hey, man, it was worth it. So I think in the end we pulled 70. Yeah, 70 shards. We hit Mercy and we hit the 10x. I cannot complain. I'm honestly very, very happy, and this is why this is definitely worth it. So for everyone out there who says, why do you hoard your shards, why do you never pull, it's for situations like this where I can be a little bit more strategic and have the flexibility to pull even when I don't technically want to, but it might still be strategic in order to do so. And as you can see there, we still have 230 voids, so if they happen to throw out a random void guaranteed tomorrow for 110 voids, we're still prepared. There's a lot of buffer there. We could still participate in that if we needed to. So abundance of shards for me is extra flexibility when it comes to the events, and it most certainly paid off here. Straight to the index, Undead Hordes, finally. Another Void Legendary on my account, and it is Siphi, the Lost Bride. Fantastic. And you know what? I said we'll book her, so we might as well do it. Hop over here, straight in, upgrade the skills. Where are you, Siphi? Throw it in. Do we want to max it out? I anticipate we do, right? Everything is pretty much goodness on her, I think. Yeah, everything cooldown and chances. So there we go. Straight in, 10 books, which is surprisingly cheap, believe it or not. I thought she'd have more than that, but 10 books straight in, CVC points galore. And she's a new Void Legendary on my account. So that probably was like 30,000 something points in CVC. So we're cooking here. We should be crushing it in, let's actually check that. Yeah. So I might push to get the 400k here. I think this is probably the first time ever that I'll be in range of getting 400,000. Like I said, this is also the first time I've ever pulled shards during a CVC for the sake of pursuing something, and I guess the byproduct here is getting points as well. So yeah, I think I definitely helped us push ahead a little bit there for sure with my contribution. So I think we should win this one. We're only in tier 5 on this week, but I think we won, and I should be able to max out the personal rewards for the first time ever, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, that is super exciting. We got the Siphi. She's finally mine, and the strategic shard pulls have paid off. Once again, we hit another 10x champion. Great start to the year. I believe this is technically my first shard session for the year, so this is a damn good start to 2025, and I guess it's all downhill from here after this. Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys want to see a guide on her free-to-play champion showcase on Siphi the Lost Bride. It's going to take me some time to build her up, get her masteries full, and I think Ninja won the last poll, so he's definitely going to be the next champion on the list in the near term. But let me know, yeah, if you're interested in seeing a guide on her in the relative near future. I doubt many of you were pulling during the CVC, but if you were, let me know if you happen to get something amazing for yourselves. And as always, if you did enjoy the video, then be sure to hit that like button down below. It really does help out the channel. And feel free to subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content as well, for more content just like this one in the future. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.